Welcome to the ultimate tactical explainer for an absolute blockbuster of a match. But hey, before we step onto the pitch today, please like, subscribe, and share Football Flash Live channel for more updates. Okay, we are heading straight to Toronto for a truly monumental 2026 World Cup knockout clash. We've got a 41-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo taking on the 40-year-old midfield maestro himself, Luka Modric. It's literally pure striking power going head-to-head with absolute midfield mastery.
To really set the stage here, let's dive right into the massive question hanging over this entire matchup. Can a Croatian defense that just leaked 5 goals survive a Portuguese attack that's generating nearly 2 expected goals a game? It's the classic unstoppable force meeting a historically stubborn object. We're going to look right past all the hype today and focus exactly on where the spaces will open up.
So here is our pre-match rundown. First, paths to the knockouts. Second, clash of tactical philosophies. Third, the AI match simulation. And finally, number 4, final score probability.
Let's jump into Section 1, Paths to the Knockouts.
You know, the statistical profiles of these two teams are just fascinatingly opposite. On one hand, Portugal comes in completely undefeated, anchored by this elite defensive solidity. I mean, they've allowed just 1 single goal all tournament. Compare that to Croatia. They took a pretty severe beating in a loss to England and gave up 5 goals total in the group stages. Yet somehow they still managed to grind out the crucial wins they needed to get here.
But what's really terrifying for Croatia right now is this number right here, 1.99. Portugal has been generating a staggering 1.99 expected goals per match under Roberto Martinez. To put that into perspective, in knockout tournament football, an XG pushing 2.0 is absolutely lethal. So the big analytical question is, well, can a Croatian backline that looked completely overwhelmed by pace suddenly organize itself to weather this kind of sustained offensive storm?
But context is everything, right? And the context behind those numbers tells a much deeper story. See, while Portugal absolutely crushed Uzbekistan 5-0, their 0-0 draw against Colombia showed us they can actually look quite pedestrian against a highly organized, defensive low block. Croatia, meanwhile, well, they bend, but they rarely break entirely. After looking completely exposed by pace out wide against England, they recovered that legendary mental fortitude of theirs to lock down gritty, hard-fought results.
All right, moving on to Section 2, Clash of Tactical Philosophies.
This matchup presents a really cool core tactical dichotomy. On one side, you have Roberto Martinez's wide explosion. He heavily pushes the ball out wide, specifically leaning on his left flank to stretch out opposing defenses. Directly challenging this is Zlatko Dalic's central control. Dalic completely relies on the technical brilliance of guys like Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic to dominate possession and essentially starve the opposition centrally.
So let's break down the exact mechanics of Portugal's primary attacking weapon, the overload trap. It's like a 3-step puzzle. Step 1, they push an aggressive fullback, like Nuno Mendes, way up the pitch to join a dynamic winger like Rafael Leao down that left channel. Step 2, this actively forces the opposing defense to panic and shift over. And then step 3, once that defense shifts, fatal gaps suddenly open up right in the middle. Seriously, when you're watching this match, keep your eyes glued to the center of the penalty area, because that is exactly where runners like Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo are going to be waiting to strike.
Which brings us to what we call the key corridor. This is the absolute tactical battleground where Portugal's blistering left flank directly tests Croatia's highly vulnerable right side. Remember, Croatia's right side was severely exposed by wide attackers early in this tournament. Josip Stanisic is going to be tasked with dealing with both Leao's direct driving runs and Mendes' overlapping sprints. Honestly, if Croatia's midfield fails to drop back and provide cover, Portugal is going to find their primary route to goal completely wide open.
However, data and tactical vulnerabilities, they only tell part of the story. As Croatia's Nikola Vlasic put it, we've showed in the past that once we make it out of the group stage, we're a force to be reckoned with. We absolutely have to inject the human element here. You can never, ever count out this golden generation's tournament know-how. They literally thrive in the pressure cooker of knockout football with a resilience that often completely defies statistical models.
Let's look at Section 3, the AI match simulation.
Okay, so how is this actually going to play out? Well, our AI predicts a highly cautious start. For the first 15 minutes or so, expect a very cagey midfield battle as Croatia tries to take the sting out of the game through possession. But right around the 35-minute mark, the model projects a Portugal breakthrough, successfully exploiting that vulnerable Croatian right side via a left flank overload just before halftime. But hey, do not write off Croatia. Around the 70-minute mark, the AI projects Modric's masterful orchestration will drag Croatia right back into it with a crucial equalizer. The defining factor, however, arrives late.
Around the 85th minute, while Croatia's veteran legs start to tire, Portugal's sheer squad depth and fresh elite attackers are projected to break the deadlock once and for all.
And that brings us to Section 4, Final Score Probability.
So the AI data gives Portugal a commanding 65% probability of advancing, compared to Croatia's 35%. Based on their expected goal generation, their undeniable defensive solidity, and a pretty overwhelming advantage in attacking depth, destructional advantages on those flanks are simply weighted too heavily in Portugal's favor.
Factoring in Croatia's legendary fighting spirit against their undeniable defensive leaks, the AI projects a very tight, super dramatic 2-1 victory for Portugal in normal time. It definitely won't be easy, and Croatia will for sure make them suffer in the midfield, but Portugal's firepower is projected to be the ultimate difference maker on the day.
So I want to leave you with this final question. Will Croatia's midfield masters script one final legendary upset and expose Portugal's struggles against organized blocks? Or is Roberto Martinez's relentless wide pressure simply too overwhelming to stop? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember, please like, subscribe, and share Football Flash Live channel for more updates. Enjoy the match.